Israel unleashed a long-threatened ground assault on Gaza City on Tuesday, declaring Gaza is burning. And this as Palestinians there described the most intense bombardment they had faced in over 2 years of war. Meanwhile, a UN commission found that Israel has been committing genocide in Gaza. Let's get you more details on that.
Israel launched its long-threatened ground operation into Gaza City on Tuesday, declaring Gaza is burning. That's as a UN inquiry found Israel has committed genocide in Gaza, incited by top Israeli officials, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Israel categorically rejects the libelous rant.
Israel called the accusations scandalous. It has ordered hundreds of thousands of residents of Gaza City to flee. Many have spoken in recent days of having nowhere to go, of reaching overcrowded, unsafe camps and having to turn back. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, told Israel to stop its assault.
I can only think of what it means for women, for malnourished children, for people with disabilities if they are again attacked in this way. And I have to say, the only response to this is stop the carnage.
In recent weeks, the Israeli military has levelled buildings in the suburbs, including high-rise towers. But residents said on Tuesday bombardment of the city had ramped up dramatically, with heavier explosions destroying dozens of homes and naval boats joining tanks and planes in the bombardment. Abul Abd Zakut said his cousin was cut in half by a concrete block. They don't know how to retrieve her remains, he said.
What did the children do for us to find a head here and a leg there? A body that's been thrown 20 metres? We've been bringing them out since 3 in the morning.
We took out many martyrs and injuries. Rescuer Bashir Hajjaj says. It was difficult to reach the place because of the shelling. Israel says the aim is to dismantle Hamas as a political and armed organisation. An Israeli military official said ground troops were moving towards the centre of Gaza City, and that the number of soldiers would rise in the coming days to confront up to 3,000 Hamas combatants Israeli forces say are still there.
Today we witness in real time how the promise of never again is broken and tested in the eyes of the world.
The UN Commission of Inquiry's genocide report is the strongest UN finding to date, but the body is independent and doesn't officially speak for the United Nations. It cited as examples the scale of the killings, Israel's blocking of aid, forced displacement of Palestinians, and the destruction of a fertility clinic. Commission Chair Navi Pillay.
The ongoing genocide in Gaza is a moral outrage and a legal emergency. Member states must act now.
A Genocide Scholars Association and rights groups have reached the same conclusion.
Now some more news from the Middle East. A United Nations Commission of Inquiry has concluded that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. And the top Israeli leaders, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, are the ones who are inciting these atrocities. Now viewers, the 72-page report released in Geneva cites mass killings, deliberate starvation and forced displacement, along with destruction of vital infrastructure, including a fertility clinic, as evidence of genocidal acts committed by Israel. The report says Israel has carried out 4 out of 5 crimes under the UN's own Genocide Convention. In fact, the Commission's chief, a former International Criminal Court judge, said, and I quote, "The ongoing genocide in Gaza is a moral outrage and legal emergency." She also said Israeli authorities at the highest levels have orchestrated a campaign with the intent to destroy the Palestinian people in Gaza. But Israel, on the other hand, has rejected the report outright. President of the country, Isaac Herzog, called it morally bankrupt, accusing the inquiry, in fact, of ignoring Hamas's atrocities. Israel's envoy to the UN in Geneva also labelled it scandalous and fake, written by what he called Hamas's proxies. Now, viewers, Israel maintains that it is exercising its right to self-defense after the October 7th Hamas attack. Remember, this attack killed more than 1,200 in Israel and saw over 250 being taken hostage, some of which are still in Gaza. But the war since has left more than 64,000 dead in Gaza, according to local health officials, with parts of the territory now facing famine-like conditions. The report by the UN also cites Netanyahu's own words as proof of intent, including a letter to Israeli troops framing the Gaza campaign as a holy war of annihilation. In fact, the commission, which compared the situation to the 1994 Rwanda genocide, says dehumanization of Palestinians as animals has paved the way for mass killing without conscience. Now, Israel is already facing genocide charges at the International Court of Justice in The Hague, and this report, though independent, marks the strongest UN-linked condemnation yet and intensifies pressure on Secretary General Antonio Guterres and other top UN leaders to finalize the use of this term genocide. So this is the latest we're getting with regards to the war in Gaza. Finally, the word genocide has been used by a United Nations Commission of Inquiry. And this is in regards to what Israel has been doing in Gaza ever since Hamas militants attacked Israel, killing over 1,200 and taking 250 hostage. Now, this report cites mass killings, deliberate starvation, forced displacement and destruction of vital infrastructure, including a fertility clinic, as evidence of genocidal acts being committed by Israel in the Palestinian enclave.